Hi, Angela Wolf, fashion designer and online instructor. And in this episode, we're taking a pair of leggings. I got the little pocket for my cell phone, but that's not what we're doing. We're adding a skirt to it, maybe for golf, tennis, walking. You could put a cute top on this, wear it to dinner. A lot of ideas for that. I'm going fishing with it. So this is what I did. I took one of my skirt patterns and used that as the base for my skirt. So this skirt goes all the way around. I'm going to show you how to make a wrap one, which is even a little bit more stylish. I have my basic leggings. So here are my leggings. I turned them into shorts. There's my waistband. So before I attach the waistband, the only difference is I'm going to create the skirt. So here is the back, which this will go around the back. And this could also go at the top if you wanted to, but I like the fitted waistband. And then here is the front. So this is a little bit different than the one that Emily showed earlier, but still a fun wrap style. All right, so this is what I have. This is the center front. And if you have them, you can imagine, I'm just gonna give you a visual here. This is gonna go here, and the other one's gonna cross over this one just a little bit. So to finish this front edge, because it's a knit, this is very simple, I've folded this back and pressed it. We need to do the same thing to the other side, so find the straight edge. On the wrong side. I always have to mark my fabric with chalk or I can never figure out which side. Knits are so tricky. Both sides look exactly the same, which isn't a problem if it's all matching, but you just don't want to end up with two right sides. Give it a little steam. So the first thing I'm going to do is run these through the cover stitch, and then we're going to attach it to the back. So I'm just going to slide this under. So this is from the right side of the fabric. I'm using a contrasting thread so you can see. Looks great. It's such a sporty look. And if you don't have a double cover stitch or cover stitch, you could use a decorative stitch on the sewing machine. Get to the end, and let's run this piece through while we're there. And I always like when I'm finished, because I want to be ready for the next part I'm going to stitch, even if it's not this outfit, I'm going to put this back under. Just makes it faster and easier because we're going edge to edge. We don't have to finish those. All right, so let me just show you what I have here. We've got one side and the other. It really doesn't matter if it goes right over left or left over right. It's your preference. Let's see, I usually like mine right over left, so it's gonna go like this. And that's the front, and here's the back. And we're just gonna run this through the sewing machine. I'm using stretch thread for this. I could also run this through the serger, but I've been trying every episode in the season to use something different to give you ideas for whatever machine you have. So I have a straight stitch at a stitch length of 3.0. And just run this through. Again, I'm using a contrasting color of thread for you. I'm using a number 11 jersey needle. There. And that stretch thread allows us to stretch just a little bit. And because this is a seam that's up and down, it's not going to stretch as much as if it was going around your waist. So I have the stretch thread up above and in the bobbin. Just be careful when you're winding your bobbin to wind it really slowly with the stretch thread. All right, and then I'm just going to run this one through. Usually I would just stitch this with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm just making this a little wider so it's easier for you to see and for me to see from here. All right, let's get to the end. I don't think I cut those exactly even, so, but we can fix that in a minute. And I'm just going to show you what this is going to look like. All the way around. And then you can choose, like I mentioned, if you want it to go right over left or left over. I like to go right over left. So here's the same skirt that you saw there, except a wrap style. Very fun. All right, let's go back up to the table, and let me show you what would be the next step. So I would run this through the serger and finish these seams here. It doesn't fray, so if you don't have a serger, don't worry, but that's what I would do first. Here are my pants. I would go through and check this. Now, a couple things. There's no side seam on these leggings, so that doesn't mean your side seam has to match right to the side, because the back is usually a little bit bigger. So what I'm gonna do is go through and just pin this in place real quick. And this side's gonna wrap all the way around to here. And then same with this side here. Just like that. Let's go back to the sewing machine, and I'm folding back the right side, because the first thing I want to do is just stitch. And the first thing I'm going to do is just baste this into place. It's a good idea just to test that, and then you can go back and stitch it later. So I'm changing to a stitch length of 5.0. Stitching all the way around. Get my pins out of the way. If you're using pins on knit, clips are actually a better idea. I'm using pins because it just happens to be what's handy right here. But use silk pins. They won't scar your fabric, and try to keep the pins only in the seam allowance. Just a tip. You don't want to end up with a bunch of holes in your outfit. All right, push my seam allowance towards the back. Now we're back around to the front, and this front area is going to go right over where we just were. Stitching around. Okay, let's go back up to the table and see what our skirt looks like. How cute is that? You'll attach the waistband, hem it, and the skirt, I don't know what you'd call those, skirt leggings? Very fun.